and it broke down. Wasn't running at all. No way, we were going to have to cancel the site. I didn't want to do that because, you know, the kids are counting on you. You get out there, you get a rapport with the kids.
We've had them sitting in the rain, waiting in the rain for the sidewalk truck to show up.
Last year, it was snowing, and they were sitting in the snow. But anyway, and didn't want to cancel. We didn't have any vehicles, didn't have any buses to use, didn't have anything except an old white Chevette. So I'm thinking, I got the Chevette or I got nothing. So we loaded up all the puppets in the Chevette, loaded up all the speakers, went out there, put the speakers on top of the Chevette, covered up the windows of the Chevette, rolled the windows down a little bit, covered up the bottom of the windows with paper, and just had the puppets out the side of the window. And it was the funniest thing. It looked like a little squat bug. We were all taller than the stage. But it worked. Yeah. And we had 200 kids there.
But the key is be creative.
Sure.
That's the key. And
use what you got.
Yeah, and that's been something I've said, you know, you work with what you got. Whether it's, you may not have the greatest staff of people in the world, and that's frustrating. I've been there before. I've been there before, okay? It's very frustrating. When you want to see something done, I'm a perfectionist by nature. And perfectionists are terrible people to live with. I understand that. So you want to do your very best, and that's important. But you got to work with what you got. You can throw it all out the window and say, well, if it's not going to be perfect, I'm not going to do it. Or you can get a Chevette and say, I'm going to make do with what I've got. Don't get discouraged. There's an alternative. We've given you the dimensions to a truck. We've showed you the ideal, where it can be something that can be an ongoing thing. It can be a very vital part of the ministry of your church. But there are alternatives. There's always another way to go just to do it. But I think one of the things that cannot be substituted is, again, the staff. That's crucial. The sound system, unless you want to end up sounding like me.
And not only that, but you can't really, if you've got a crowd of 100, 200, 300 people, how are you going to yell?
Yeah, you can't do it.
You got traffic, you got airplanes going over, you got people going back and forth. You got to be louder.
It's part of crowd control. On the street, you have to have that. And then, of course, you yourself providing the leadership for this project. And that's really what's going to make it or break it for you. So we've talked about the truck, we've talked about alternatives, and I think you, hopefully by this time in this video, are starting to formulate some mental images of what you can see that's possible. And if you can see it, you can do it. That's one of the first steps.
1, 2, 3, go! And the monkey, even if he sees the hunter coming, he's not going to let it go because he's so greedy that he wants to take the orange or the apple and he won't let it go. And so what happens? He gets caught because he's so greedy he doesn't want to let it go. It's just like stealing.
Next thing we want to talk about, point number 5, and that's promotions. Promotions is a sticky subject, and I'm going to explain to you why. I heard a preacher preach, well, it's been a couple months ago, I guess now, and he said there's been more churches split over bubble gum than anything that he'd ever seen. And I didn't know where he was going with the illustration. Then when he explained it, then I had a tendency to agree with him. There are a lot of people, and I think there's been more of a leaning towards that lately, the last couple of years, against using promotions to get kids to come to Sunday school. I don't know what your personal beliefs are. I'm just going to share with you what we believe. If you have a problem with promotions, you're going to have a problem with this whole concept. You're probably going to have a problem working with kids in general. Okay? How can I explain it? Everything that we do in church,
it's true.
Whether it's the adult congregation, somebody told me the other day in Florida, they said, well, we don't believe in promotions, but they've got an $18 million church building. They hired one of the top music directors in the country, paid him an astronomical salary. Why? Because the music program was their promotion.
Sure.
It was their draw. The building was the draw. They've got elevators, they've got escalators. Come on, folks, give me a break. Remember who you're talking to here, okay? It's a draw. It's a promotion. So what's the difference? If you're going out hunting for adults, if you're going to go fishing for adults, you're going to use the kind of bait that adults are going to go for. if you're going to go fishing for kids, you're going to use the kind of bait that a kid is going to go for. Make sense?
I did one promotion in Florida, and what it was we were doing a 4-week campaign. We were going to give away $100, okay, to the kid who brought the most visitors, who learned the most memory verses, who was faithful. This
was over 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
And whoever got the most points from doing the most things like that was going to win the $100.
Good campaign.
We had one kid that was working so hard. He was a poor kid. He brought his family, his mom, his dad got saved.
Yeah.
His whole family started coming to church. He was bringing neighbors, adults, teenagers to church. Man, he was studying his Bible all the time. A complete transformation took place in that family.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the kid won. There was so much garbage raised about that. Everybody had a heart attack.
Who?
A lot of the older people in the church. You know what it boiled down to? It boiled down to they didn't think it was right to give away promotions. They didn't think it was right to bribe the kids.
Yeah.
You know what it boiled down to? In the big meeting, the big, board meeting we had, they said, we don't want the brown people in our church anyway.
Yeah.
We don't want the brown people.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad, but true. And these are kind of the things that some of you are going to have to deal with, folks. This is reality. Again, we've been through all this for years. I know of a lot of churches that are extremely prejudiced. That sounds a bit cold, but again, if you're planning on doing this concept and you're going to take it to the streets, and when you start bringing these kids into your church, if you decide to bring them into the church, and by the way, when you go out and you have Sunday school in the neighborhoods, there have been times when there were as many adults gathered at Sidewalk Sunday School as there were kids.
Many times there have been more.
Because people say, how does that happen? Because we didn't advertise it for adults. If we just said, okay, adults, we're having a preaching service for you, they're not going to come. But we're having it for kids, so they're not threatened. So they feel like they can come, they can be comfortable. So they do. You can give an altar call. It's not uncommon for me when I'm preaching on the street, talk to the kids, get to the end, and turn that thing right around and speak right to the adults and give an invitation for the adults. So there's got to be excitement. The promotions is just another way of getting the kids to come. That's all it is. It's not a spiritual end unto itself. The ends doesn't justify the means. I've heard all the arguments. You believe what you want to believe. You do what you need to do. But we have found that the promotions is a very crucial part. Let's list, Chris, quickly, some of the things that we've done, some of the things that we have done to get the kids to come to the Sidewalk Sunday School originally, and then what to do on an ongoing basis, some of the things you've done.
I think one of the first categories is food.
Yes.
Food is always a good item.
Talk about it.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, pickles, sunflower seeds, bubble gum,
Go right down.
juice, ice cream, cake.
Now, right now, I know what people are thinking. They're thinking, oh no, how are we going to do this? This is like building the truck.
Yeah.
How is this going to happen? Do we have alternatives? I remember one church I was at, we went to the Krispy Kreme donut shop and found out that every night they would unload dozens and dozens of donuts in the dumpster. So I just made arrangements with them the night before the Sidewalk Sunday School, get the donuts, bring them back. We had breakfast at Sidewalk Sunday School. Call the donuts lunch at Sidewalk Sunday School. Call it what you want. But it was a nice thing. You'll find out that the majority of kids, maybe you don't realize it, but the majority of kids have very little to eat in the course of a day. That's why, particularly in New York City, obviously, we try to feed our kids. It's a great promotion, and you're helping them besides that. What are some of the other things we've done, Chris?
I think to go back to that a little bit, something I did in Florida was we were going to do a candy hunt, an Easter candy hunt.
Yeah.
We were just going to take candy, spread it all around the area where we were going to do the sidewalk. But that's a lot of candy.
Yes.
What we did is we went to Zayre's, we went to Kmart, we went to the grocery stores around and said, can we just, when we talked to the manager, told him what we were going to do, and said, is there any way you could donate candy for us? they donated bags and bags of candy. We had more than we could use. And it just comes from asking. Just comes from asking.
Well, one of our youth pastors just recently made a contact with a major toy company here in New York City. And they said, yeah, if we'd have known you guys were doing it, we'd have been helping you already. So it's out there.
Yeah.
But again, it takes effort, it takes work, it takes determination, and you work with what you got. You're going to hear me say that a lot. All right? You work with what you've got. Promotions are crucial. Talk about campaigns, Chris. A lot of times you can take one thing and stretch it out for a 4-week campaign. Okay? What are some of the ones we've done?
We did the Army Days.
That was a good one.
We did Bible Boot Camp. It was excellent. The kids got into it. We talked, all our lessons centered around Army. Your weapons of your warfare.
Right. What to do if you're captured.
What to do if you're
in
captured in battle. And we just talked about the different aspects of that. Well, our promotions, you know, all of our flyers was talking about Army Days. Our promotions centered around that. We had Army coloring contests.
So talk about a coloring contest.
Okay.
Okay, because I know a lot of the people, when we say that, you and I have a tendency to say things because we know what we're talking about, but we got to remember who we're talking.
Coloring contest is an excellent idea. All you do is you take a picture of whatever you want to have colored, put it on the flyer. Okay. Down at the bottom, it's very important to do this. Don't ever forget during a coloring contest to leave a space for their name, their address, age.
And it's got to be printed on white paper.
Right.
Okay.
Printed on white paper.
Just a line sketch, like a coloring book sketch. Okay.
And then you just pass that out to all the kids in the area. You pass it out, tell them to color it, bring it with them. Okay. Man, they'll get into it. They'll put sparkles on it. They'll put macaroni on it. They'll get all into doing this picture up. And they'll bring it to the Sunday school site with them. And then you have somebody in the back going through picking out the best ones. You can give away a brand new Bible, a $5 prize. Something small like that, a toy. Didn't cost you hardly anything, and yet you've got the kids excited. You got them all doing something at home to keep their minds on the Sunday school, what you're doing out there every week.
Plus, you've got their name and address.
And you've got their name and address.
That's the kicker. Then you can put it on your roster, which we'll be talking about in the visitation segment, and that's going to come in real handy when it comes time to setting up your roll sheets when you start going into visitation. Now, Circus Days. That was an excellent
Circus Days
campaign.
was a lot of fun. We had clowns come in. We were doing all of our games that we did had to do with the circus, with popcorn. We gave out popcorn as one.
Very cheap promotion.
Excellent. Popcorn is excellent promotion. There was Wild West Days. Okay. It had all the kids being, you know, cowboys, and we had cowboys and Indians games. The lessons all centered together. We just are in the midst of Pirate Days. That's right, the official Pirate Days hat. What does Pirate Days have to do with anything? Well, probably not a whole lot. We do have the special guest coming next week, who's Captain Hook. He's a real life pirate. But it's just a lot of fun for the kids. And this week we talked about Jonah, how he was like a pirate who got all messed up, but God brought him back. And there's a lot of things you can do, and the kids get into it.
Sure.
I thought Pirate Days was going to be great.
Wasn't all that, didn't sound like it was going to be that exciting. But again, it depends on how you promote it. You can sit there and go, now kids, I want you to get excited. Pirate Days is going to be a lot of fun. And I want you to bring your friends. And I can't hardly wait myself. I'm so excited right now, I can't stand it. Or you can say, kids, I want you to get excited. We are going to have pirate hats. We are going to have eye patches. We're going to have special guests. We're going to have a pirate treasure chest. We're going to let you pull gold chocolate coins out of this thing. And I want you guys to get so excited. We are going to have the best time we ever had. Now, what are you going to want to come to? See? All depends on how you promote it. Promotions can be exciting. Doesn't have to be much, but it's all in how you do it. You can take a clown, take nothing, literally nothing, and make it exciting if that's what you want to do.
You know something else that works really well is we've done this before where you get firemen to bring a fire truck.
Sure.
There are special firemen that do nothing but
It's
talk
the
to
PR
kids.
department of the fire department. Police the same way.
Same thing.
Any of these kind of people will be more than happy to come do it. That's what they get paid for. Yeah. And most of us never take advantage of that kind of stuff. Athletes. If you're in a place where Maybe you're in a city where you've got a Christian athlete that you have access to, or somebody in your church may know them. Folks, there's so many things you can do that really aren't going to cost you that much. If you'll just sit down, think, use what we've given you today as a guideline, the flyers that we've shown you samples of to give you an idea of how we've promoted it. But most of all, again, be excited. If you're not excited about it, they're not going to get excited.
But before you close this part, there's one last thing I'd like to say. There were times when we had zero money in our budget. What do? You know what you do? You promote the lesson. You say, hey kids, we're going to have a real life puppet show. You know, you put that on the flyer. We're going to have puppets this week. We're going to be having a lesson on obeying your mom and dad. We're going to have a story about a rat who wouldn't listen to his mom, and just pump that thing up. Be excited about that. And you're out there, and you're doing it, and the kids just come for the lesson.
Everything rises and falls on the leadership. Okay? Everything rises and falls on the leadership. And only you can do that. You can be excited. Like, we're not doing anything here right now. And I can get excited. First of all, I'm excited because I think some of you that watch this tape are actually going to go out and accomplish something. So that excites me, because I'm excited about the work of God in general, because it burns in my bones. And it needs to burn in some of your bones. If you're excited about it, it's very contagious. If you're a deadhead, that's going to be contagious as well. So it's up to you. If you're an excited person, it's going to filter out to all those that are around you, and people are going to be drawn. And when they're drawn to you, you lift him up, and then they will be drawn to him. Make sense? I think it does. I hope it's bringing you to the place where you see what can be done where you are.
If you want sparklers at the end of Sunday school, you must be sitting on a blue tarp. The workers are instructed not to give anyone sparklers except the people who are on a blue tarp. There is enough room for you, so don't come up to me afterwards and say I didn't get sparklers, because all you boys on the back there, you need to be sitting on a blue tarp.
I think one of the most important things, because it's a point of contact, is the flyers. There's nothing that gripes me more. I mean, it gripes me. And I've seen high offices put things out in religious circles, flyers that are handwritten, that got hand-drawn. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. Your flyers are what takes you to people. Your flyers are what people are going to keep in their house. Your flyers are what people are going to associate with you. And what are they going to look like? Are they going to look like some 3-year-old wrote, you know, come this week? Or is it going to look professional? Now, there are ways you can make it look professional without spending a lot of money or a lot of time.
Any kind of literature that you put out, whether it's the weekly flyer that you will be handing to the kids, we're going to talk a little bit about what you do with the flyers in the visitation segment, whether it's a handbill advertising a special meeting, whether it's your church bulletin, any kind of literature that has your church name on it needs to be first class. It's important. Now, when we put these flyers together, what are some of the ways, without a lot of money, we can make something look good, Chris?
Okay, first thing you need to do is you need to go to the office supply and get some of the blue graph paper.
Yes.
That light blue does not show up on a copier, so you can use it. They have light blue pencils that you can write on, make your marks on. That stuff won't show up on a copier. Take and get the rub-ons.
Called rub-on type.
Rub-on type.
Right.
There's all different kinds of letter styles, the sizes of letters. Use a variety of sizes. Okay. Put a picture on there. If you're going to have a promotion where you give away Bibles, then put a picture of a Bible on.
What if you can't draw?
Well, hopefully you won't draw any of these, because not many people that know how to draw are going to be doing this.
But where are they going to get the pictures?
What you need to do is look through coloring books. There are clip art books that you can.
There's clip art services. Actually, what I used to do, I don't do it much anymore, but it's a good way to get started. You can go to your newspaper, local newspaper, and they actually have clip art books that you can get addresses from and get the same clip art services that newspapers. If you've got a contact with a newspaper service, they'll let you even use their clip art books there without any charge at all. I've done that before.
between clip art, you can get a lot of pictures out of newspapers and coloring books. Those are about the three main areas where you can get pictures from. Pictures are very, very important to
Very
put on
important.
flyers.
Yep.
Because we're living in a visually oriented society. A person is not going to read a paper that's filled with just words, but he will stop and read something that's put
And
together
especially
nicely.
kids. I remember one time we were going to show the movie, The Cross and the Switchblade. So we had a cross and a switchblade on the flyer. And one of the kids thought we were giving out switchblades to everybody in Sunday school. So you have to, the kids are going to look at the picture, all right? Most of the words are going to be superfluous.
Yeah.
So the picture, it gives a whole new meaning to the concept, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The picture is 1,000 words on the handbill.
It's
Okay?
true.
So that's very, very important.
And then normally, obviously in the operation here, we have printing presses, our own printing presses, because how many flyers do we put out a week?
Almost 45,000 a week.
45,000 flyers we personally hand out a week. But in Florida, I just used a copy machine. The church's copy machine.
Sure.
It was just a small church. Nearly everybody has a copy machine in their church.
Or
If
they have
not,
access to it
You can
somewhere.
get access to one. And even paper was a factor
Sure.
for the cost. What I would do is make the flyers on half sheets of paper, run 2 of them off, and then cut them in half.
One of the things that I just found out recently was you can go to printing companies, then they throw out an exorbitant amount of paper because it's what they call the end of the ream. And if you can go there, talk to the manager and say, listen, any paper you're throwing out, when do you do it? And just go by. It may not be great. It's better than paying for it. So we've got in rub-on type what the special event is that week. We've got a picture. We've got a little description. But what else needs to be on every piece of literature that goes out?
Every flyer, every piece of literature that goes out must have the church's name on it.
Name,
The church's name, the address,
address,
the phone number,
gotta be.
okay, and the time that you're going to be doing your site.
Right.
Okay. You got to have that. Parents, if they have questions, they need to know where to call. They need to know that you're not just some fly-by-night operation, that you're associated with the church.
There's too much going on now.
It's
You got to
true.
be very clear and simple and concise with what's happening. And I think that's the beauty of Sidewalk. I remember we tried years ago trying to have Sunday school inside a bus. Nobody'd come because nobody knew what was going on
Inside the bus.
inside the bus. When you're out on Sidewalk Sunday School, everything is out in the open. You're very upfront. The literature you're putting out is clear and concise. Make it that way and you'll find out it will pay off in the long run. Be upfront with people and you'll find that the folks will be very appreciative and it'll save you a lot of problems in the long run. The next point is point number 7, and that's blitzing. I guess I better define the term first. Blitzing is when you actually go into a neighborhood and make an all-out thrust to let folks know that you have now arrived in that area. And that can be done a number of ways, and we're going to explain to you in as much detail as we can today what are some of the things that they can do to get out there and let people know that you're there. Now, Chris, what are some of the things that you've done? I know we've done inner city, we've done suburbs, we've done Mexico, we've done little tiny towns. A lot of people think, well, it'll work in Mexico, but it won't work in my town. It'll work in New York, won't work in my folks. We've done this concept in every kind of situation that it can be done in. So what we're giving you here is not theory, and you need to know that. What we're giving you here is practical applications, no matter where you are.
I think the key is to go out, preferably the day before you're going to do it.
Yep.
Have lots of flyers with you. Okay, what you'll do is have maybe puppets, or have a clown, have a costume character,
Something, again, to draw attention.
something to draw attention, and you'll put that in a pickup truck, on the hood of a bus, have the puppets coming out the window of the bus, whatever. Have loud music playing, have a bullhorn, a megaphone, something that's going to draw attention. And the only thing you're doing is the kids come out, what's going on, what's going
You're
on?
attracting attention to yourself.
That's right.
That's what's blitzing. You're making a major blitz in that area saying, hey, we're here, it's happening, here it is, handing out the flyer, we're starting, it's coming, come. Get excitement. You're getting the neighborhood excited about what's going on.
And basically what you do is you have people hanging out the windows, you have people running out the doors, hand them a paper. Say, we're going to be doing a great program tomorrow at the corner down there, be down there at 4 o'clock.
And the info's already going to be on the flyer.
Info's on the flyer, but hey, the parents have seen you. Oh yeah, you were down there with the clown or with the puppets, and they know what's going on. You make a lot of noise, you get a lot of people to come with you. You don't stop. Do not stop. You keep right on going.
Moving slowly down the
bus.
street. I mean, obviously you're going to have to stop at the end of the block. Go within about a 4 to 5 block radius. 4 or 5 block square radius. If you go much farther than that, if the kids are walking, you're not going to attract them very much farther than 5 blocks. And again, that's going to vary from location to location.
For example, if you're in a trailer park, then you'd want to do the whole
You want to
trailer
focus
park.
on just a trailer park.
Or in a set of apartment buildings,
Yeah.
that whole complex.
Right.
But you won't stop. You just keep driving along slow. You have workers.
Teenagers.
are the best. They got a lot of energy. Okay.
That's right.
Us old coots don't like getting out and running along beside a pickup truck. But you know, they're running along. They're handing out the papers. They're talking about what's going on.
While somebody else is on the megaphone,
Right.
blowing whistles, making noise, playing the music through a sound system.
Be sure the driver doesn't do any of that. The driver drives,
That's all.
and that's all he does. Don't want any accidents. That's a quick way to ruin a sidewalk site before you even get started.
Because a lot of the kids will run out, probably more so here in New York, we're conscious of this, but we've had parades. And I've been on the megaphone joking with the kids and saying, okay, everybody get behind the truck. Let's make a Yogi Bear Sunday School parade. And they'll just pile out in bikes. We've had 50 kids lined up behind the truck. So that probably won't happen any place but New York City, but it may. So be
And
aware of
I don't think blitzing is something you need to do every week.
it.
It's
Just getting
something-
it started.
It's just getting it started. You got something special going on. You want everybody to know. How are you going to get everybody to know? By just going out and making a lot of noise, causing a lot of commotion, getting a lot of people excited and pumped up. And they'll be there. It'll pay off.
Yeah. We've seen it happen, but again, it goes back to getting the folks, getting the committed people, getting them out on the street. Are you listening to what we're saying? You're going out where the people are. You're captivating their attention. You're earning the right to be heard, okay? You have got to somehow captivate the imagination of that neighborhood. And let's face it, there's no better way to do it than what we're saying.